We're back. It's episode 4. We made it. We are 52 puzzles toward our goal of 62, but 2 strikes. I'm really hoping that we can get there this time. This has been a successful run no matter what, but I do think we need to try our best here to continue the streak. I want to get 10 more right before I get 1 wrong. That's proving tough. So far, we have had 7 in a row correct with an X. So I think we're doing okay here. Now, I started looking at this one last time and then I had to give up on solving it quickly, but it's going to be a 2800 level puzzle, so I'm not really expecting it to be that easy. So the first thing we want to look at is the pieces that are farthest away. We want to get this rook involved somehow. We are pretty much even in material, almost, but there's a difference of 1 queen versus 2 rooks. So the advantage of 2 rooks usually is that you can attack more things at the same time. You can, for example, double attack something. No matter how powerful a queen is, she can only attack the same square 1 time. Whereas 2 rooks can attack it 2 times, 3 minor pieces can attack it 3 times. So that's your advantage. You want to stack up on one thing. And I think in this case, it's the king. So we have the obvious check, and the king will have 2 legal options. And if they take the top route, we mate them immediately because they cannot escape through these squares. So this is their only escape square. The question becomes, how do we control that? So we are going to have to probably still play that check, and then we'll see the king run to here. Now, what I would like to do is probably drop the rook down this way in order to cut off this escape square. And then the final threat would be this mate. The first thing I looked at was not dropping that rook down. We did this in the last video, at the end of the last video, is continuing the checks, but the king goes here, and then we can check again here, and the king goes out this way. And now I don't see any more attacks because we can go here, but the king can run this way, and then I think that's the end. I don't see any other way to continue an attack on that square, and I would love it if this king could help, but I don't think he can. So you usually want to use your pieces to drive the king toward your own stuff. Like, for example, making use of the fact that the king controls all these squares. And we could, if we could drive the king somewhere down here, we could mate them with a rook right here. And that would be pretty good. But I think that instead, since they don't, they can slip out this way. I think that we have to figure out something else. And I'm really liking the plan I came up with, which is this double check. And the king will have gone to here. And so because he's going to leak out this direction, we're going to cut him off right there. The queen would be forced to give a check. And this is a critical moment because she can give a check on any of these squares, but the king can just hide here. And then there aren't any more checks. Notice that this square is not defended by the black king. This square is not defended by the black king because he's still here. Had we continued the check, he'd be here controlling that square. And so the queen would at minimum be able to do this. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Checking me. So for that reason, I think I'm just going to go ahead and play it. And pray that I am correct. Let's see. We are correct. And then I assume it's the other rook. It is. Now I think it's here because this is going to be a mate. Actually, well, okay, I should say it blocks with the queen, and then we take it, and it's mate. But this is the part where I'm not really sure about that. Is there anything to do with this pawn? No, because the queen can just go check, 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 back and forth between these squares, checking me, and there's no way for the white king to get out. So that would be a draw. So if we come here, I've often said, and I'll say it again, if you think you have checkmate, just take your time and think about it. So here, pawn push, check, queen blocks. We take the queen, the pawn takes, and we're up a rook and a whole bunch of stuff. Ah, but there's actually this guy. Oh, that just got more complicated. Hmm. Because there's no way to stop this pawn from queening. Here. Okay. Here. And then the pawn pushes. How do we finish the mate? Maybe we do still go like this. We go like this. And do I have anything else I can do? Oh, that's it. I probably don't take with this rook because if I take with this rook and the pawn takes, I have a rook that's kind of trapped inside of everything. I probably have to take with the other rook, which is take, pawn takes. Let me start from the beginning. And then we go here, they block. I have to take with this rook so that when the pawn takes back, I can go here because then the pawn will push and I'll go here behind it. It has to be this rook. That's really cool. That is super cool. I wonder if they're going to make me do that. If the computer will make me do that. Remember, the computer just gives up. If it's going to get mated, it just says, okay, you win. As long as I have more than one move that wins, it'll stop the puzzle. So I think I'm correct. But just check it because I don't want to fail the first puzzle of the video. Okay, I do think I'm correct because even if we win their queen and they take our rook, we can stop the pawn from queening. And if they play anything else, like here or here, and then give up a queen for a rook and say, haha, I'm going to promote now because your rooks are all in weird squares, it doesn't matter because we've won a queen and haven't lost the rook. So I'm going to go ahead and play it, and I'm praying this is correct. I'm actually quite nervous about this because it's such a quiet move. I think this is it. Yeah, I want to make sure, though. I want to make sure that is true what I said about having to take with a certain rook. Because what if here? Then rook h5, queen back, and I can take with either rook. Okay. So rook g is correct. It is mate in 13 if I take with the g rook. That's good. What if how do I get out of it with this? Rook e4. Just barely in time. Yeah, okay. I don't know why I thought that. Huh. Drinking coffee here because I haven't woken up yet. Okay. We are through the 2800s. You ready for a 2900 level puzzle? What do we have? We have a hanging rook for black. What? And my rook is hanging as well. So I'd be down a bishop. Okay, I get it. Well, it looks like that's just going to be check and take the rook. Okay, we each have something hanging and I'm down a piece. So I can go here and they go here. I can go here. But that's not a check. They'll go there. I'll go there. They'll go there. That loses. All right, so here. Still both rooks are attacked. So the other option would be here. But then this rook saves itself while defending the king. What I need is a double attack that can't be solved by a double defense. Right now we have one attack on the rook, and I need to save my rook so that I can take theirs free. So let's do a double attack like this, right? Now the king is attacked, the rook is attacked, but it gets solved with a double defense. Rook back, and now the rook is not hanging, and the king is not in check anymore. Now, is there a way I can queen a pawn anyway? What if I do just take the rooks? Let's just calculate this. What if I do and I push the pawn? That's actually pretty good. That may just be the answer, actually. The extra piece doesn't matter. I want to be clear that I do still think I was thinking in the correct way. You want to think about checks, captures, and threats, right? So we did checks. They don't work because on this one, the king attacks the rook again, and there's no way to get out of that. So we're thinking correctly here. Ah. So the other issue I see, all right, what if I take the rook and they take here and I push the pawn and they take my pawn, then I can go here, but then they stop me. So what if I go here and they go here and I take the rook and then they take my rook? And the difference is, yes, we've still traded rooks, but the bishop is one tempo back. So then I can push. And they have to stop me somehow from queening. So I think they have to stop it with a bishop, or let's just say they take it and I push this pawn, and now I'm going to queen next turn. So the check actually does work. It's a check, then a capture. We cannot let the bishop be here when we capture. We want to trade rooks here. So why does this fail if I check here? What if I check in here and I try the same idea? And now I push here. Because isn't that also winning for the same reasons? Okay, I have to figure out the difference. I think it's trade rooks and push the pawn, but I'm not exactly sure why one works and why one doesn't. So I'm going to take a second. So this took me an embarrassingly long time to realize the difference. I was forgetting that this pawn, if it's forced to capture the rook, it no longer covers this square, which is a lot, which is the whole point. So when I calculated this line, I saw that we could go here and that this is impossible because there's a pawn here. And then for some reason, when I was calculating this line, I failed to realize that this becomes possible again. I was just thinking it's the same thing because we're still trading rooks. So in my mind, it was both. And this is why you have to be very, very careful with solving tactics like this, because you have to recheck your assumptions and calculate line by line, move by move. So it's going to be this way so that we can capture with the rook and not the pawn. We do want to trade rooks. We do want to push this pawn, but the point is that we have to keep this pawn doing one job here so it cannot do the job of taking the rook. Now we queen. See how this square could be controlled by a bishop right here? Good thing this pawn is still here. That's why. Okay, it just took me a long time to figure out what the difference was. I hate those ones where I know the winning idea. I just don't know why the other one isn't winning. Finding defenses is a lot harder than finding attacks, a tactical idea that wins material. Keeping your material is much harder. So, looks like white is queening with check. This seems to be the most obvious move. See, I'm attacked. And then I'm shielded. This pawn is hanging. The other thing I can do is just take it. But if I just take it, it feels like this check is quite dangerous. Because if the king goes here, then we lose this pawn, and the king goes here, and then checked again, and then here, and then here. This seems like really, really, really dangerous. So you would think it'd just be this. Secondly, this is a spy. We covered this in a previous lesson. This is a white pawn that stands in the black row of pawns where the black pawns start. So it's like a turncoat, right? He's secretly working for the white team. But I also prefer to think of that as he's a white pawn who's secretly working for the black team because he's covering our king. So with this pawn here, there's no way for the white pieces to get in on us on the file, and then the diagonal becomes difficult too. This rook can go 1 and 2, and that would be mate if this pawn were protected. So you can see here, here. But I really think we could try to like get this rook out of the way and try to queen this pawn. So if we could go like get a queen right here, that would be good. But I think what it is it's here, here, and then something like a check in the back. The thing is the queen can come back and take that. So we do have to figure out a way to prevent that from happening. So something like this. And then how do I get, what I want to happen is I go to the back, the rook is forced to take it, and then I queen the pawn. That's what I want to happen. So we just have to figure out how to make that happen. Rook, queen, let's say rook to the second rank, and then they take us and they're threatening mate in one. And I don't think we can really prevent it, right? Okay, so that's a problem. All right, I'm going to take my time and think about this one. Been sitting with this one for a long time. I think that if we come up here and this check happens, if we try to go this way, we get at least checked this way. So that seems to be like refuting that whole line because now the flight square is covered. I'd have to come back and the rook and queen can switch positions and it gets more dangerous for me. So I'm thinking it's move the rook, and then when the queen comes here, we actually play f5 for a couple of reasons. We don't want this queen coordinated on this square and this square at the same time, because we said earlier we want to play the rook up so that this rook has to take and then we can queen. But we also don't want it supporting this pawn so that the rook goes 1-2 and it's checkmate. So we want to play this to get the queen off the square, but also to give myself a temporary flight square. So that if the queen takes here and then checks, I can go like this. I can come out. And you're thinking, well, doesn't that just allow the pawn to queen? Well, I will still have two rooks here. So no, I will just take that. It seems dangerous, but I keep looking at it and I can't quite figure out a way for white to get out of this. So I'm still thinking about it though, but I think it's going to be rook, queen, f-pawn here in order to continue holding the square. And then I haven't quite got past that yet, but I don't think it's take the pawn because check. So maybe it's rook up here attacking the queen, but no, there's a pawn in the way. So I'm still working on that, and I'll be right back. All right, I've decided on the first move. It definitely is moving the rook for those ideas I mentioned. What I think we're going to do is we're going to, instead of stacking rooks on this file, we're going to take it the space left behind, as Josh Waitzkin called it. When the queen deserts the file, we're going to relocate the queen to be the one to stack up with the rooks, because then we can go double check. We can check twice here. It is a back rank formation, so we are in fact threatening the king. If we don't even need to queen the pawn, okay? If we can just double tap this square, then that should be good enough to mate. So I think we are in fact preparing the idea of the queen defending the black king, but more importantly, attacking the back rank. So I'm not sure about this f5 move. I think that may come up in some lines, but obviously only with the queen on g5. But one of the risks of that is that this becomes undefended and this square becomes weak. So, I mean, if you move these pawns, it's like pawns 101, right? Don't push pawns in front of your king unless you're cool with these two squares being weakened. And I'm not sure because the queen like has this idea of coming in here or even here, and then rook mate. So I'm not exactly sure, but I do think the queen is going to go here, and we're just going to use these two guys instead of what I originally intended was these two guys. So let's go here. Okay. Now, I don't think we play this quite yet. I think we're going to go here and then try to take this guy. So if here, the queen must maintain control of the square now. It's not optional. Before I had said I push this and then it could go like here or something, and I still can't quite go to the back rank because I do queen, but then I get checkmated. So that's bad. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to make it mandatory that the queen stay on that square or else white gets checkmated. Okay. Now, do I take here? Or do I try to play here and give myself a flight square? So if I play F and the queen goes here, then what? Okay, so what's just wrong with this? What's wrong with that? Take, take. Oh, by the way, we're up a bishop, so if the queens come off the board, we're still winning. So I probably is just take this pawn. That just feels like such a lazy kind of way to finish a puzzle, but it does have its good points, which is that it can team up with a bishop here to deliver mate. So I think that's the right answer. That was why I put the queen there, right? But that check doesn't work because it's guarded twice. So let's just check this real quick. F5, check, king. And then it's attack. The queening square is controlled 3 times, so should not be queenable. So then check here, take, check here, check again. Now probably actually with the rook. Back rank. Okay, so this actually looks ugly. I'm not really sure if this is the right answer or not, but this doesn't look good for doesn't look good for black. So gosh, that's gonna suck if if that is the right idea. Okay, but I don't see anything wrong with this guy. Just take that pawn and then trade queens, be up a bishop, I think. And we'd had even amount of pawns too. So is there anything else that can go wrong here? I don't think so. All right, we're gonna take it. I don't know if this is right. I don't know if this is wrong. Pray for me. Good. Good. All right, just trusting my instincts there. It felt like kind of a letdown at the end, but if you don't see it, don't play it. All right. I bet you I see this right away. Something like that or like this. Huh. So this is a check. It works 2 pieces, and so this is forced. And let's see, this is a target as well. Material is even. So we need to win like a whole piece or something like that. Now, we do have a scary threat here. So that's bad. So I can go here, here, and then I probably want to get the queen involved in the game. Check. And the king goes something like here. And then is there a method by which I can get the rook involved in the game? What I would like to do is defend this square and just go like rook here. But that seems a bit scary. I don't know if I really want to be throwing away pieces this early, but we could. Quite loud in the other room. Don't know if anybody else can hear that on the microphone, but it is quite loud over there. All right, let's take a second here. Okay, so I can't figure out a way to make knight f6 work because when the pawn takes, no matter what happens here, the king has like plenty of places to hide, and there's no way for me to go like this and this. So one thing that I need to avoid is check here and then check, and everything gets traded. At a minimum, everything gets traded. And remember, we are trying to win the game. So if this doesn't work, you can try switching the move orders. And I'm looking at queen g1 because if I play rook g1, I can get, when I get checked here, I have to go to the back rank and then check again. And so, you know, stuff starts coming off the board. I think it's probably going to be queen g1 because this is a mate threat. Whereas with the rook, it's not a mate threat. So queen g1, I have 2 different threats. I have mate and I have this knight fork because the pawn becomes pinned. And so I can win the queen that way. So queen g1, the only thing that makes any sense is check. And then I don't think we want to like try running this way because the queen has another way to come in on us. There's also this idea. So we don't want to do that. I think we're just going to try to hold the back rank a 3rd time. So you see that there are 2 attacks on each squares, right? So we want, ooh, I almost failed there. Misclick. All right, we want 1 attack and then a 3rd attack, right? On this back square, we want 3, so there's no infiltration there. And if I'm checked on this square, we're just going to go straight back because then everything is blocked. There's no checks against me because everything is blocked up. I think that's the right answer. My question is, I don't know what to do after just queen f8. I guess I just go check, and then the pawn is still pinned. So king h8 is forced, but then don't I just go back and then the position repeats? I haven't been able to solve anything with queen f8. It's not dangerous, but I don't know how I'm supposed to continue. And I guess maybe I just like build up slowly and then go for mate that way. But still, it seems like there's no breaking through there. Maybe it's lead with the rook or something. But we're going to play queen g1 and pray that this is correct. I don't know what to do on queen f8, but okay. Wow. Okay, we got it right, and they didn't play queen f8. That's good. I think we just want to keep 3 attacks on this square. There's no reason to go like this and allow myself to get like checked or something like that. Might as well continue attacking the rook, right? I guess it doesn't do much, but so we're just going to play. Yeah, I mean, this looks healthy. There's no way for black to attack me, so. Okay, now this is the point. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. So far, it's been easy, right? So far, no big deal. Maybe I attack this rook here. I don't understand how to get out of this. I've been thinking about this one for a long time, like 10 minutes, and I still don't understand it. What I want to do is play check, and then the king goes here, and somehow I miracle a queen. F7. I guess maybe I can go check. King moves. I play like here, threatening to come in, but then they take my knight. And then I go check. Oh man, there's no blocking. That's what I've been missing this whole time. I needed to talk to you guys out loud to see it. It is going to be check here, probably queen up, and then they can't take my knight because I check them right here. Check. And then they have to go to this file, and then it's mate this way. Rook will block, and we take it. So that's the key. I go here, they move. I go here, and they actually cannot take my knight. That's the whole key. I guess. All right, I think that's the idea. It has to be the idea, right? I don't see anything else. It's not this. Yeah. I guess I could push this pawn and have them take it for some reason. No, we're going to play the knight move. I don't know. Haven't thought this all the way through. I just see that they can't take it on this turn or the next. So we're going to go for it. Now I'm pretty sure it's this. I just missed the fact. For some reason, I was thinking if I go here, I can't check because the queen is there. But the queen can't go like this, can it? It's not a knight. So that's the answer. Let's play it. They took it anyway. So it's mate, right? Isn't that mate? I calculated this a long time. Well, I'm going to take their queen, obviously. I don't think I go here first. Because if they block, I don't have checks here anymore. And if I go to the back, they block again. Sorry, they block right here. So yeah, it's just the plan we had. Now I'm going to take that queen. 3,000 level puzzle. Okay, I'm confused by this one. I don't understand what I do. We're going to take a look real quick. What if okay, queen g1 we figured out just because it has to be, it's double threat. That was easy to find. What if just now, here? Knight f6 check, yes, here. And then I still play queen g5, so it's just the same thing. So I had a little bit of a hallucination there. They take, why do they have to take here? Okay, let's go back to their main puzzle. Why do they have to take? Because if they don't, what else do they play, I guess? I'm just threatening mate in 2. So it's telling me, like, they can throw away their rook if they want, but otherwise, like, what if they go here? Yeah, it's just mate. So I guess they take the knight because there's nothing better to do. Okay. I thought it was... I don't know. That was a confusing one. I don't know why I didn't see that earlier. I guess I did see the right moves. I just didn't see it for the right reasons or something like that. So, okay, another complicated one. This is going to look like the typical pattern that we usually see. This idea of this undefended piece here. So, like, for example, here, check, Knight blocks it. We have to solve this issue of discovered check. So we probably take, and they take here, and that's bad. So, how do I take advantage of that piece without the knight coming to c6 and helping out? I am in check. That's a problem. We are attacking one of their pieces too. We each have 3 pieces. So I think that we're just going to have to work this one out in order. Okay, I think this one is not actually that theme of an unprotected piece. I think I did have the correct move, which was c3, but it isn't a check here. I think what it's going to be is c3, and then when they take it with the black pawn, we have actually opened up the file. And so we're working on this pin here. I would love it if I go here. That would be pretty cool. So I actually think it's going to be c3. They take it. We trade queens. Now this becomes a pin, right? How do we get out of this? It's actually pretty cool. We queenside castle. And now it's not check anymore. So it's check. Sorry, it's check to the black king, not check to the white king anymore. When the black pawn moves. So this pawn has moved to here, right? And the threat is 2 things. And then it's check because it's a discovered check from this bishop. So by queenside castling, we remove the king from that position. And now it's not check anymore, and he's perfectly safe. So it'll be check. What can happen? Well, the bishop can go back to block the check, and we take it. Or the knight can come in, and then we take this knight with a pawn, and we're up a piece. And I don't think at any point this matters. Like, we've lost some pawns, and that's okay, but... So I think we're going to go ahead and do this. We're going to trade queens, and then we're going to castle with check. And that gives us the tempo to take the knight and everything. Don't forget this knight is pinned when the king is here, so it cannot come back and block. So let's go ahead and do this. And this is the best I can do. I think I got this one fairly quickly, if I got it at all. Can always get the dreaded red X. Let's see. Is this my final episode? Is this my final move of this run? Success. Got it. Got it. Oh, we don't have to figure it out. Okay, cool. We're just going to take the knight. All right, guys. That was great. That was a 3,100 level puzzle. That was our second 3,000 level puzzle. 57. We only have to get 5 more right, and then we are golden. Isn't this just a basic? Isn't this one just basic? The same as it ever is? I don't know, but we're going to find that out next time. I had fun doing this with you. If you had fun, please hit the like button. I really need those to spread the channel. It's the only way that YouTube knows that I even exist in the first place. It also trains your algorithm to serve you content that you like. So if you liked this video, please do hit the like button. I depend upon it. You depend upon it. And we are going to depend upon calculation and chess skill next time. I'll see you on the next one.